Miss Amber, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. The weather here on Hilton Head has been like sunny and 75 the last couple of days with no humidity.
Oh,
It's been incredible. Incredible. Uh,
gorgeous, gorgeous.
yeah.
Well,
I wish I could hit
welcome.
pause on that.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes to let more people join. I see we have quite a few participants already, which is awesome. All right. Get this going. Okay, just giving it maybe one more minute.
Sure.
To everyone who's already here, I went ahead and put a helpful resource into the chat. So you can have that open and kind of follow along as we start talking about our announcement today and our integration. And I'll, tease that article later on throughout as well. So let's officially just go ahead and dive in. So welcome everyone. We're so glad that you're here. Today we're going to show you something the two of us especially, are really excited about. I'm Amber with PriceLabs, and joining me is Chris Walker from Direct Booking Tools. We'll get into proper introductions in just a second. I do want to go over some quick logistics before we dive in. So we are recording this. For those of you that joined at the very beginning, you maybe heard a little bit of announcement. It is being recorded, and within the next 48 hours, everyone who is registered will get a link to this recording. So you can rewatch it, share it. If you have to drop off early, don't worry about it. You can watch the rest of it in that recording. In terms of questions, ideally, I would love for you to use the Q&A function that you have in the little toolbar there for your questions. That makes it a lot easier for us to be able to queue up and go through every single question that comes up. It's also easier for you because you don't have to hold on to those questions until the end, because that's when we'll be addressing them. As soon as they pop into your head, you can put it into the Q&A, and then we've got a full list of questions for our Q&A session at the end. The chat is still available to you. Ideally, use that chat if you have any technical difficulties whatsoever. So, if you're having any sort of audio issues, if we start to lag, definitely use that chat. You'll be able to communicate with us that way. If for any reason one of us has internet issues, gets kicked off, hopefully it's just one of us and the other one can kind of take over for a few minutes until we can join back. But we'll definitely keep you posted if something like that were to happen. All right. And last but not least, I will say that we're estimating the presentation portion only going to last probably about 30 minutes, and then we'll leave a full 15 minutes for Q&A. I can't foresee, unless we get really, really juicy questions at the end, I can't foresee going any longer than 45 minutes. So just to let you all know, as you're kind of working through your schedule, things like that. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about this new integration that we have between PriceLabs and direct booking tools. And the shift in thinking and shift in strategy and revenue management when you have that direct booking intent data and how you can incorporate that into your strategy, your revenue manager strategy. We're going to get into the integration, how it works. We're even going to do a live demo. Chris is graciously going to show us his PriceLabs account so you can see real data in action with this new integration. We're going to get into some real world revenue use cases. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll have Q&A and open discussion. So, we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves and our companies before we dive into the meat of the content today. So, a little bit about PriceLabs. If anyone on here is not familiar with PriceLabs, we're a revenue management and dynamic pricing solution for everything from short term rentals to mid-term rentals, small hotels, and even campsites. Um, we work by gathering data or scraping data from multiple sources, cleaning up that data. We're going to remove blocks, deduplicate, remove ghost listings. And we use that data to drive pricing recommendations that are based on your hyper local competition. So the closest listings of similar size to you. And we're going to come up with these price recommendations, but also allow you to customize as you see fit so that it fits your revenue management strategy. We sync prices automatically by default once every 24 hours to your connected PMS or channels. And in addition to the dynamic pricing aspect of it, sending those daily rates and those men's day restrictions, we also have a very in-depth performance element of the tool as well. This is your reporting key performance metrics, market data as well. And again, keeping this as high level as possible. But if you are not familiar with PriceLabs, again, it all starts from a single base price, right? So you as the user comes up with that base price. Then we apply those market trends on top, and then we apply your customizations as well. And with that, I'll hand it over to Chris to tell us a little bit about direct booking tools.
Thank you, Amber. Thanks for having me. And this is an exciting culmination of two great companies coming together with a lot of data. Obviously, a lot of data-driven aspects going on here. And as a user of PriceLabs, I have to say it's a great platform. It's very intuitive. You can do a lot of manipulation within that platform to meet what your unique criterias are with your own inventory, which is fascinating and fun at the same time to be able to go in there and make little tweaks here and there to improve your conversions on your website, or with the consumer that's looking for your properties, making sure you're priced right for your particular property, because not very few of us have all the properties that look exactly the same. In fact, they're all very different, and even if you do have a lot of them that are the same, you can actually put all those in one bucket and manage those all at once, which is really cool. So a lot of great things going on with PriceLabs and what they've done with that platform. As the owner founder of Direct Booking Tools, as an owner operator as well myself, I've been in the industry since '07 with my own rental company, and started a tech company in 2021 because we felt like the industry needed some improvements, that we felt that the consumers needed some confidence in booking direct. We're here to drive more direct bookings for the property managers, which we all know is a much more valuable consumer to have through your booking journeys and the success of your company. So I was struggling with that in myself in my own business. I was only at 23% direct when Josh and I came up with this idea, and today I'm at 70% direct because of what we're doing with our price comparison tool. As you can see here on the site. Here, we show real-time pricing for every property, for every date. This is not some algorithmic percentage-based plus add-on type thing. We are actually getting real-time pricing for every time the tool shows up on your website. So that's key, because we're true proponents of being truth seekers and making sure that we're delivering actual real data to the consumer and not misleading them by giving them percentage-based algorithms. So when consumers see this on your site, we call it stickiness of cart. They all of a sudden stop, realize, wow, I'm actually saving so much money, $500,000, $800,000, whatever the case may be, by booking direct with you as the property manager. So we're increasing that trust in your brand. We're giving the consumer the confidence that they found the best price, instead of leaving your site to go check to see if you have better pricing on other locations, which is the perception of the consumer, is that they can always find it cheaper, when we all know as a property manager, our site is always the cheapest, or it certainly should be, in the industry. And so that's why we built this, is because we wanted to build that trust for our own consumers and our own brand, and it's worked very, very well. Besides the forward-facing price comparison tool, we also have what's called the Cart Saver tool. We realized after getting into this and rolling our sleeves up and looking at the data, that cart abandonment in the industry is around 80%, which is a massive loss of your marketing revenue going to the wayside when people don't book. We wanted to come up with a solution that would actually help nudge them along to actually go through the booking process. So we came up with this Cart Saver tool that slides in on every booking page that actually calculates the difference that you're saving by booking direct. And then we actually give the property manager an opportunity to do a little bit of upselling here by putting in it, like this is in my own case. I put you take these savings and why not consider buying travel insurance for your stay. And even if they did in this particular case, it's usually about half of the savings is what the travel insurance would cost. So the people are actually still saving money while increasing the coverage and the benefit of booking direct with you. And we've seen our travel insurance increase tremendously from this type of sales as well, but also that we're reducing the cart abandonment by up to 25% as well. So we're all about keeping people on the website, keeping them engaged, and getting them to book direct with you. Besides, when our tool fires, we collect that data, so we know when someone's looking at a particular property for particular dates, that length of stay. We bring all that data into the back end of our product and give you a dashboard segment that you can go in and actually look at what your forward demand analytics is telling you. So this is actually consumer engagement on your website. This is not website traffic. This is people that are actually looking to book. They've gotten a price quote. They've been on properties. And so you're much further down the booking funnel, if you will. And what we're doing is delivering that information back to you as a property manager so you can see where those peaks and valleys are in the guest booking journey. And then you can make business decisions around that. Now, it could be that maybe there's a spike in the market because of a concert or some sort of festival or something, or maybe there's a huge wedding that's coming to town. You don't know, but all of a sudden you see these spikes in your analytics, and you think, wow, we've got a lot of traffic looking for this. Maybe I need to. You could increase rates, or maybe you need to increase your minimum nights from 3 nights to 4 nights because you can get a better capture rate, or conversely, it's a little bit slower. We've got a 4 night minimum. We should be at 3 nights because that's what the data is telling us. That's what people are actually looking to travel. So we're trying to deliver that information back to you to see what the consumer intent is while they're on your website at any given time. Another benefit of these analytics too is that now you've got data for each individual property. You can break this all the way down to the individual property level, and I use this all the time myself. We're no longer in the 2022-23 craze of travel where we all jacked our prices up because of demand. That demand has simmered, and now we're back to a more of a stable economy, if you will. In fact, we were having a little bit of pricing challenges now compared to those times, and owners still want to get that high number that they got back in those days. And now you can actually pull that unit, look at all the price quotes, actually download it, and send your homeowner the actual price quotes that you're getting as a marketing company for that owner, and say, Mr. Ms. Owner, I really wish I could get you $10,000 a week for that house like we did 2-3 years ago. I said, but we're pricing it at that. We're getting the eyeballs, but we're not getting the conversion. Look at the data. Here's the data. We need to be at this price in order to get this to convert. So work with me here, type thing. So you can actually have in-depth conversations with your homeowners strategically about what the data is telling you as well.
Excellent.
So so
So
overall, we're a small, operation. Again, I'm sorry, Amber. We also show you your rate parity distribution to your OTAs, making sure that you're pricing them correctly so that you're covering their fees. And then we show you engagement on your website at any given time as well. But generally speaking, we're just trying to deliver what is happening on your website to you so you're knowledgeable about what the consumer is doing.
excellent. And at PriceLabs, one of the things we're focused on right now is bringing direct booking website demand signals into our platform, so that operators can see more than what's already booked, right? So we're talking about booking intent, and that's exactly why we're really excited about this partnership. So what we're going to do today is the intention is that we're introducing you to this new integration, what it looks like. This integration and is technically still in beta testing, right? So we're looking for more beta testers. At the end of the webinar, we'll tell you how to get started with that. We're also, get excited about this now, we're planning another webinar where we have a mutual customer on, and we go through a case study of before and after for that customer. So you can really get more insight into the impact of this.
Mhm.
Um, so I want to talk about and really set up uh, why it's important to have this data. And Chris did a great job talking about, you know, why direct booking tools, why that's very, very valuable data in and of itself, right? So you're out there making pricing decisions, but you're essentially flying half blind. You can see what's booked, and that's even with market data, right? So there's a lot of fancy data science things that's going on in particular with the PriceLabs algorithm, right? So there's a forecasting element there. However, there's still a big part of it that is reacting to the dates that have already booked or that the dates that typically book in the past, right? We're still not seeing the booking intent. You can't see what people are dreaming about booking right now, and that's where we're talking about this quote data. Um, so I want to talk about the way I think of this data. Um, in PriceLabs and a lot of our reports and charts, we talk about occupancy pickup. Wording that I sometimes use is booking velocity, right? So occupancy pickup, that's the amount of occupancy that's been gained within a certain amount of time. A lot of times in our charts, it's like last 7 days or last 30 days. And it's helpful because those are the hot dates, right? Well, that's the same sort of thing we're going to be showing you with this quote volume data that we're going to get into is it's showing you which ones are really picking up with quote volume, right? So it's a very important element on, you know, deciding or really being able to visually see is that pace accelerating or slowing down, right? Um, so I wanted to mention that. So the pain point is there's lack of this visibility into that booking intent and making the visibility of that booking intent incorporating that into your revenue management strategy. And we'll talk about, again, some real world scenarios there. Is there anything else that you would add to that, Chris?
No, I mean it's perfect. I mean the matchup here is great. Once we show what it looks like on the platform, it's really intentful to show. I mean, it just comes right there to you to show you, okay, these dates are booked, these dates have not booked. Here's the heat seeking map that you guys built, which is awesome to show you what the real intent is there. But then you start to look at the actual numbers, and then you can tell, wow, what's the impact here? How is this actually you know, what is the real intent, and should I be making adjustments to this? And like Amber said, we're in beta now, but we envision this to become a much more cohesive environment for us to work in and actually deliver that data, and then it become part of the strategy in the long term to actually recognize it and give you suggestions on how to move things within the system for sure.
Excellent. So let us show you right now, just showing you screenshots, but showing you what this actually looks like inside of Price Labs. I have linked a help article into the chat. Please check that out. Again, you can follow along step by step now or after the webinar, depending on what's most helpful for your learning style. But really, this data right now, there are three data surfaces showing you the direct booking tool quote data and showing it to you in a couple of different ways. We've got a quote volume chart. That is actually this middle chart of the screenshots. It lives on the neighborhood data tab right below the future prices chart. So, and we'll get into this, it's really cool that you can actually hover over a particular date that's receiving a lot of quotes and you can see specifically how many quotes within the last 30 versus last 7 days. But it also overlays with that future prices chart. So you can see what's going on in the market. You can see what's going on with your recommended price, your last synced price, if there is an event or a holiday, things like that. So it's giving you a lot of information more than just the quote volume, and having it right there together is really helpful rather than having to kind of flip back and forth. And then there's also a new color code option within your pricing calendar. And again, the live demo is going to show you this really well, but it is essentially, it's kind of like a heat map. That's Chris's word. And I love that. I love that idea of it. The darker the blue, the more quotes that data is getting. And so it can help you really see kind of at a high level what's happening with your quote volume there as well. And with that, I am going to hand it over to Chris.
All right. All right. Let's take a look at this in real terms. And so, again, like I said, I am a user of the platform, love PriceLabs, love what they're doing. So, those of you who do use the platform know exactly where I'm at within their system. I'm on the calendar of a particular property, and I'm able to see here, based on this property, whether it's booked or not booked, and then actually what the intent is for those future dates, and determine what the market's looking to book, and how intently they are. So I wanted to show this particular view because it really does show that, like this is an oceanfront 2-bedroom villa that we have on the market. We got it. We put it on our program last year, unrenovated. This year we renovated it to going into this year. It's getting a lot of eyeballs. This, of course, is going into August because we're pretty much sold out for the summer. So we're starting to look further out in our calendar based on certain properties, and this is one of those. So I'm now able to look into August. What's the intent for this particular property? And the really cool thing is I can come in here onto the neighborhood data dashboard, and this is that same property. And down below here, you see these bars that are jumping up and down, showing you what the intent has been. These are the price quotes for this property. I'm sorry, I've got a bar in my way. I can't read. All right, so this is showing you on any particular day. So this happens to be July 29th. In the last 30 days, this property has gotten 72 price quotes. In the last 7 days, it's gotten 38 of those. So it's gotten half its price quotes in the last 7 days. That is a spike in what's going on with this property. Now, above that, that tells you in of itself that there's customer intent. I'll give you a little background. When we hit 12,000 properties on our platform, now we have 30. We did a study to see what were the averages where a price quote should get a conversion. And we saw that if it was more than 10 price quotes for the same arrival date and same departure date, that you might have a pricing problem. If it's more than 20, you probably definitely have a pricing problem, unless it's something wrong with the property. I don't know, it's got, purple drapes and pink carpet. I don't know, it could be a conditional thing. We actually had a situation where, in fact, this particular villa came on the market. When we took it on, it had 2 queen beds and no pull-out couch. We got tons of price quotes on it. It wouldn't convert. It was in good shape, but it wasn't in great shape. But we had a price for that, and we weren't getting any conversions. Well, we could see that we were getting the price quotes, but we weren't getting conversions. What's the problem? I asked my team to come in. We thought about it. Well, you didn't have a king bed in the master, and you didn't have a pull-out couch. We got the approval from the owner before we even bought the product. We actually advertised it that way, and we sold the unit out in 21 days for the summer because we changed the bedroom configuration. So it's not always price. It could be configuration such as that. But we all know that 80-90% of the time it's usually price that's not helping you with your conversion. So back to the whole point of that story is it gives you various things to look at. And then if you look up top in the top window, it shows you what we booked it for last year, what the ADR was, and what we're offering it for this year. Now, like I said, this homeowner went in there and dropped about $150,000 remodeling this unit. So now we feel that it's worth a lot more per night. Well, what we feel and what we get might be two different things. Unfortunately, it looks like it's getting a lot of price quotes, and we're not getting that conversion in August for that pricing that we have on this property. So I, as an operator, need to go in and maybe make some adjustments here in order to get that conversion rate, that conversion to actually take place. And this has been a great enlightenment product ever since we put it on my site, because it's helped me in quite a few instances where I see, okay, people are looking, they're shopping, but they're not booking. What's the
Yeah.
problem? and we look at the property, we look at our marketing. Is it pictures? Is it descriptions? What is it that's wrong? If it's none of that, it's usually
Yeah.
price. So, um,
I
this
love
is
that you're talking about all of the different aspects that could go into why it's not converting. Because I think that's an excellent point that it's not always a pricing issue. And as a former revenue manager and talking to a variety of customers on a daily basis, I was always the type and am still of the school of thought that I want to sacrifice rate last. So,
absolutely.
making sure that the description, the photos, that all of that is buttoned up. Love the, analysis of, hey, is the bedroom arrangement, the bedding, king size versus queen size bed, things like that. Making sure that that's ideal. And then talking about, okay, let's look at our minimum length of stay requirement. And then let's talk about maybe lowering price. I also love that you can see last year's ADR on here because it also shows you all in one place. How I look at that as how much wiggle room do I have with rate. If I am setting a rate that's significantly higher than last year's ADR, I know I have room. And based on the fact that it's early June and this is looking at early August, I do have a little bit of time on what I can do
Mhm.
with that rate as well. So I don't have to, slash rates right now. I can start potentially with those other elements and then say, hey, okay, well, we've tried this. We waited, a week. We tried this. We waited another week. Now I'm going to start playing with rate because I do know that I've got some wiggle room there based on last year's ADR.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, being a two-bedroom condo, we're a little bit far out. I mean, in theory, we're 60 days out from this time period. Should we hold rate? There's other analysis we need to do. We need to look at our competition. It looks like, based on your, I love this too, is we're in the upper tier of pricing. We're not in the top tier based on those colors in the background. And we should be, in that upper tier because it's a brand new remodel condo. It's direct oceanfront, gorgeous property, sitting in a great location. So we should be in that upper tier. Do we need to, take a look at what our competition is doing, how well they're booked, and that kind of thing, and do a little analysis that way, see what the inventory is around the unit, for that time frame, or people finding other, similar properties at a little bit less rate, so you got to do a little background check on things, and understand what the market is offering compared to what you're offering. But I'm with you. I don't like dropping rate for dropping rate. We got to understand why we're dropping rate, and we got to have, these 4 or 5 different criteria to back up, reducing that rate for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so let's
So,
also take a look at that multi-calendar view. This is
yeah.
still, and it's probably also a good idea to show them how to change this color coding, by the way. So from the multi-calendar, there's actually a gear icon and towards the upper right-hand corner, and it's got your options for the multi-calendar. In the
Mhm.
section for calendar colors, this is where if you are a beta tester, if you become part of this new feature, you add that to your PriceLabs instance, you'll have an option that says based on listing quotes. Last 30 days, also that's notable. So that option exists for multi-calendar, also on the pricing calendar when you're looking at the pricing dashboard as well, one unit at a time. Um, so again, we talked about how this is like a heat map, but let's look at this because the multi-calendar, you can see multiple units at one time. And what's really interesting is I'm already seeing pretty stark contrast from unit to unit.
Mhm. Yeah, I love this. This is fantastic for many reasons. Having this color overlay it grabs your attention, grabs, so right off the bat when you're looking up and down the calendar what's firing and what's not. Why is this unit not getting as many price quotes? Need to take a look at that. Why is this unit getting so many price quotes, but yet it's not crossed out as booked? So you can see all your inventory at one time. Again, I only manage 25 properties, so I don't have a huge inventory. But even if you did, even more so if you had a huge huge inventory. To be able to look down and see where these, again, a heat map is perfect context for what you're looking at here. So you can see where the intent is falling within your inventory and be able to go deep dive into that particular unit. Another thing I love about this calendar is you can also see those gap nights as they appear in your inventory. So you don't have to go look. You can actually figure out, that, hey, look, I need to run a gap night special or do whatever, or reach out to these particular clients. It just gives you a great visual of what's going on with your bookings at any given time in your inventory. So I love this. It's just so easy to sort of understand it and drag you right into where you need to be to hit on those pain points that either, again, it's not getting very many bookings. What's the issue? Or if it's getting a lot of bookings, why isn't it crossed out, kind of thing.
So, Chris, as the founder and as someone who has had this integration in PriceLabs longer than most, has anything stood out to you that has been kind of surprising about this data, whether it's you know, within direct booking tools in and of itself, having that data directly in PriceLabs? Like, has there been anything that surprised you?
Well, the beauty of it is, I mean, as our direct booking tools data is, we have our own dashboards that shows this data. Well, that's great to have it in that silo, but to actually have it here on this page where my pricing is, it's just mind blowing. I mean, it really is. It's so helpful to see that, yes, okay, my marketing's getting engagement, people are looking, but I'm not booked yet. Why is that? So it takes the guesswork out between the two platforms and melds them together. That was the biggest thing when I saw this. I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is absolutely incredible, because when you're working on all these properties and doing everything that you do, and everybody's doing wearing so many hats and doing a lot of different
Mhm.
things, the more you can compress and find the data in one platform, the better off you are to be able to make that direct correlation while you're working in your pricing to begin with. I don't hold PriceLabs or any other pricing company. I don't think you can't get it 100% right, because everything's so variable in every market with every property.
Mhm.
You've got to go in and do a little bit of manipulation here and there to make sure that you're where you should be, in the system and in your pricing strategy, right? So, having these two together, it was just mind blowing when I saw this. I was so excited when we first put this together. I was like, you guys took it even to a further level than I thought you would. Besides just having the pricing right there, you actually have the heat map, which again, has been incredible. Really has.
Awesome. Awesome. I know you mentioned a little bit about an example scenario of the bedding setup, the king bed versus the queen beds, things like that.
Yeah.
Are there other ways that your conversations have become different in your revenue meetings with having this data? Could you give us maybe, because we're trying to show use cases and like examples of what operators can experience from this and how it could change their strategy.
Yeah, well, knowing the price quotes and seeing what's going on there is a major factor. But also, again, I go back to the homeowner situation. A lot of times our hands are tied because of our homeowners and the conversations we have with them. Well, John, you're not doing your job. You're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. Well, okay, Mr. Homeowner, I'm doing as best as I can. Here's where I can show you. We're actually driving people to your website. They're just not buying what you're selling. And you have to have that frank conversation with them. And you can have a frank conversation when you've got data backing you up in that conversation. So it's helped me out a lot in that regard, going into this season with some larger homes, this, that, and the other. Uh, you know, we don't like to have those conversations. Obviously, we get paid more the higher the rate is. We don't want to reduce rate just for reducing rate. We want the
Right.
highest volume we can possibly get for our homeowners. So it's a win-win. But we
Mhm.
also got to have that hard conversation. Look, man, I'm spending all this money on marketing. My staff's doing all this work to make sure your property's maintained and everything's photos done, property's in quality shape, whatever it might be. We need your help. We need your approval to get to where we need to be, because here's what the market's telling us. So that's been the absolute biggest help, tell you the truth.
Excellent. Love it.
Yeah.
So I think that now we'll wrap up. I will go ahead and share my screen again real quick. We'll get into
So don't you wish you had something like this back when you were actually doing revenue management?
Yes. Yes. I think there were talks or inklings of, direct booking data, but it was never something that was talked about also having it incorporated into a pricing tool. And so you're not like flipping back and forth. Yeah, so I really love the quote volume chart right next to that future prices chart. I use that future prices chart all the time. I'm in neighborhood data more than anything else when I really want to do a deep dive into what's going on with some unit. So yeah, I think it's excellent. And same with the color coding as well. It just can easily give you um almost like a it's almost adding to that gut instinct that some revenue managers like to talk about. We talk about we have this gut instinct. Well, this is like visually giving you something that may agree with that gut instinct, if that makes sense. So just a quick recap on what we talked about today. This is all about booking intent, right? That being another element of demand. Um, it adds a context that what's booked doesn't show you, right? It's a glimpse into something new, and a very important element of what's in the minds of people that are dreaming about booking and thinking about booking. We talked about color coding, talked about how it helps marketing revenue data work together. And so again, we're planning a webinar, another webinar with a mutual customer. It will be more case study oriented. And with that, let's go ahead and oh, I should also, before we get into the Q&A, we've got some special offers for new customers, right? So if you're not a PriceLabs customer yet, this is a promotional code that is good until the 4th of July. So if you sign up between now and the 4th of July, when you enter that form fill, there's an area for a promotional code. And if you enter this code, you'll get 15% off your first 3 months after your 30-day free trial.
Hmm, there you
And
go.
Chris?
Yeah, we're doing something similar. We're going full board. We really believe in our, what we're doing. We're excited about where we're headed. We're actually going to give you half price for 90 days if you sign up off of the webinar, which is a huge savings. And it works well. We instead of a 30-day free trial, we'll give you half off for 90 days. It's actually 1.5 months for free instead of 30 days. So we want people to come in, try us out, and also for those who do not have us as a consumer, as a partner. But we encourage those who do have us as partners reach out to either us or to PriceLabs directly and say, "Hey, I want to turn this on. We want to get this going. We'll get this going for you guys, so you can actually enjoy these benefits as well."
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. Just going to reiterate because I have support at pricelabs.co right here in this slide. That is who you can reach out to. Mention the direct booking tools integration or DBT integration. The team will know what that means, and our teams will work with you to get it set up. Also, the help article again that I linked in the chat that has all of those details as well. So we really hope that this webinar helps you get interested and testing this out, being a beta tester, getting this additional element of data into your PriceLabs instance. Okay, so let me get into the questions. We've got a handful.
All right.
So Nikki asked, how do we opt in to be a beta tester? Just mentioned it right there. All you have to do is reach out to support@pricelabs.co, mention you want to get this integration started. The only requirement is that you're a current customer of PriceLabs and direct booking tools. If not, make sure you use those promo codes to get a deal to go ahead and get started. And that's all it takes. All right. Next we've got, okay, also asked about the beta tester. How to become a beta tester. There's a question about cost for direct booking tools. I don't know, Chris, if you want to direct them to a specific resource or.
Yeah, certainly. It's price per property per month, and higher volume, less price per property. Feel free to go to directbookingtools.com or email me directly. I'm happy to have a conversation with you to talk about this and talking about ease of use. I mean, all they do is reach out to you guys and it gets integrated. There's no big lift here for this integration to happen on your PriceLabs dashboard. Same thing for direct booking tools. It's no big lift to get started with us because it takes about 15 minutes of your time to give us a couple pieces of information. We build the product, and then we even contact your web developer to put it directly in the footer of your website. There's no major lift on your part because we understand it's summer booking season. Everybody's busy. You don't have time for some big integration. So neither one of these are a big lift from our standpoint. Just wanted to clarify that.
There was a follow-up question, and I believe it just came in as you were talking about that, from Roxana. Do we connect through our PMS? If that, I'll let you take that question first. If that was, it doesn't connect through PMS or,
Our system does not require PMS connection. We are working on PMS connections. We do have PMS connections with the four majors, but this direct booking tools, as the price comparison tool works, we don't need a PMS connection. No.
right? In case that question was about PriceLabs, similarly, if you do not have a PMS, you can connect PriceLabs directly to now Airbnb, Verbo, and Booking.com. So you can bypass a PMS for PriceLabs as well. But ideally, we would connect to a PMS so that we can also get to your direct booking website. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a lot of questions. Um, let's see. So, Roxana, if you are a PriceLabs customer, all you have to do is reach out to to the PriceLabs support team, support@pricelabs.co, and then we can get you set up that way once you're a direct booking tools customer as well.
Right.
All right, so got that one. Do you envision future development of this integration will see that search data serves as a trigger for predefined actions? Do you envision future development?
So what she's saying is it going to have an actual
Yeah,
impact on the algorithm within PriceLabs? That's what we're trying to determine. I mean, obviously
yeah,
that's the end goal for all of us.
yeah.
PriceLabs, takes great pride in the algorithm they've built. They've done a fantastic job with it. We've got to get a lot more volume in place to determine if that algorithm can actually work into the database, and if so, great. And that's our we would love that. But as of right now, it is not directly connected to the actual adjustment of pricing in PriceLabs. And that's just because we're being very cautionary about making any adjustments until there's a lot of data collected here.
Awesome. And then a question from Josh. Will site-wide search data also be pulled, analyzed, and integrated in the future in terms of in PriceLabs? I'm not I'm not sure. One of the things about how it's working now is that you're seeing unit level or unit specific insight. Um, yeah, we'd have to think about like where we would potentially even show that, like if we had some sort of aggregate version. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one.
We could
But
probably actually supply that type of data. I don't know if you guys collect that data now or not. Just a thought.
yeah, yeah. So definitely an idea for the future for sure. So
Yeah.
thanks for that feedback. Um, oh yeah. Hi Bailey. Nice to see you. Yeah, you guys are all good. Um, we've got a lot of specific questions about signing up, so we'll go through that in more detail. So I want to answer this question. It's kind of broken up into a few different parts. when Chris and I were talking about the example scenario, or Chris was talking about the example scenario of switching his setup of that rental, going from queen beds to king beds, that is just based on operator. Is it fair to say, Chris, it's based on operator experience, operator knowledge, knowing that a master bedroom with a king bed is more attractive? Is that,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't even come up with it. One of my staff pointed it out, and I was like,
yeah,
that's exactly right. I mean, because you get it, a 2 bedroom condo, 2 adults, 2 kids, whatever the case may be. And the adults, they don't want to sleep on a queen bed. They want a king bed they can sprawl out on, have some
yep,
room. They don't want to be scrunched up on a queen bed all week. So it was
yep,
a great catch from one of my staff members.
yep.
Yeah.
So to be clear, no, we're not telling you exactly how to change your property.
No,
um,
no, that'd be impossible, I think. Yeah.
yep, yep. All right. So some questions specifically about signing up. Um, and I do see, let me just check this chat real quick. Okay, so I'm going to put the help article again into the chat for everyone who wants to know how to sign up. And again, that article is going to take you right through how to get started. If you're not already a customer, you would want to sign up to be a customer for PriceLabs and for direct booking tools. Our
Mhm.
initial onboarding, those things would happen, separately. You need to make sure direct booking tools is set up and then onboard with PriceLabs, get that set up. Once you're set up, then you can contact PriceLabs support to get this additional feature into your PriceLabs account. Yep.
Yeah. And
All
actually,
right.
for new clients, what we'll probably do is just automate this into the system so that new clients automatically get this dashboard within Price Labs.
Excellent.
Again,
Yeah.
this is all new for all of us. We're trying to figure this
Yes.
out. So it just makes sense that for new clients for direct booking tools, we'll connect with Price Labs and say, "Hey, we got a new client. Turn this on." When they're coming in, kind of thing. So we want to keep making it as simple as possible for everyone.
Yes, exactly. Um, all right. Roxana, if you're still having problems, just let us know. I'm not sure why you can't see the article or click on the link. So I put it in there a couple times.
Leave
And
us your email, and we'll email you directly.
yeah, absolutely. If
Yeah.
I should be able, we should be able to see the email that you used to sign up for the webinar. So if that's a good email address for you, or you can put it into chat. Again, only Chris and I can see that chat. We did leave it private. We'll make sure that we reach out and get you set up. All right. Well, with that, okay, got it right there. Got your email address. With that, we will go ahead and close unless anyone else has questions.
Amber, thanks for your time today. It's been fun. I'm excited about this integration. I think it's really beneficial for everybody, and looking forward to taking this to the
Yeah.
next level. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So excited, had so much fun. Really excited about the future webinar as well.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
everyone, take care. Thanks so much for joining us.